an economic crisis. We launched during a credit crunch and a banking crisis, and we gathered this evening during the euro crisis. And yet through all of that period, there has been almost constantly growing demand for bulk commodities, whether it be for power generation, iron and steel production, construction, food production, or raw materials for manufacturing. So, apart from an initial setback in 2008-9, our bulk ports have been busy. This year, the adverse effects of drought upon US corn and soybean volumes have been more than offset by growth in other major bulks. Last month's report by Norwegian bank DNB estimated that this year total exports of coal and iron ore will reach 1.9 billion tonnes, and that figure is set to double in the next 5 years. So our ports have been busy, and that in turn has meant well, it's been good news for their suppliers. There's been plenty of orders for crane manufacturers and for suppliers of bulk cargo flow systems. The picture in bulk shipping has been a little less rosy. There have been welcome rises in the last few months for Capesize charter rates, and it's true that Handymax and Supramax vessels, particularly geared vessels, have been quite steady during the year in terms of charter rates. But we're still in a time of tonnage oversupply and all of the downward effects that has on the market. The Baltic Dry Index has bumped along for most of the year, near to the bottom of the graph at its all-time low. And this September saw an almost total collapse of the Atlantic Panamax market. And yet, during my travels this year on IBJ, I've met with ship owners in North America, Europe and Asia who see this as a time of opportunity. The shipping industry is cyclical, they say, and there's already restraint in placing orders for new ships. So what better time than now to plan ahead, take advantage of the latest in ship design, and create the next generation of bulk carriers, carrying more cargo with less fuel consumption and emissions. And that makes us proud on IBJ to be the magazine, International Bulk Journal, the magazine for an industry which faces up to and survives the global economic downturn, partly through its own innovation, endeavour and investment. And it is those qualities that we celebrate here tonight. The IBJ Awards are a salute to excellence in the maritime bulk industry, and this year the range and geographical spread of entries has been as great as ever. Those of you who've been shortlisted will know that not everybody is going to walk off with a trophy tonight. There can only be one winner in each category. And yet you come here in your hundreds to be part of this celebration of our industry. I can tell you that the rising standard entries has given our judges their biggest headache so far. Our judges, by the way, are listed in your menus. As usual, we've added one or two new faces this year, and I would like to offer them my thanks for the time that they give up to study the many entries. But when it comes to saying thank you, there's always one group of people at the top of my list. The IBJ Awards have been blessed with a very loyal band of sponsors. Most have been with us since day one, and some we've picked up along the way. We do try our best on IBJ to put on a good show, to source a brilliant venue, and to provide the best of food and wine. But it's our sponsors who deserve the credit. Without their continued support for this award scheme and event, and therefore for the support of excellence in the bulk industry, we simply couldn't put on an evening like this. So, before I go any further, please join me in thanking and applauding all of our sponsors who are here tonight.